Picture a public meeting in a small Kansas town. A woman finishes her 2 minutes at the microphone opposing a massive data center project, and she leaves the room with one sentence: "We are the people, and the table belongs to us." A few rows back, a high school physics teacher claps 5 times. That's it. That's the whole crime. Within a minute, 4 police officers surround him. He told them calmly, "I'd like to speak." They arrested him anyway, carried him out in handcuffs while his wife fought back tears at the podium and they booked him into the county jail on charges of interference with law enforcement and disorderly conduct for clapping. Tonight, that story and what it's actually a symptom of. Y'all, it's that time. Let's go.
Standing for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, built upon the shoulders of the Constitution. Rule of law and the animating principle that we are all created equal. I need to hear a hallelujah, though I am not considered a believer by some.
Ask them to leave. Can I? All right, next one. Ask them to leave. Can I? Can I say that? Chief, will you take the next person out that claps or anything, please? Thank you.
Yes, yes. I would like to speak. I have a right to must. Come on, drag it up. Come on, drag it up. All right.
Take a breath. You'll be okay. Take a breath.
So the mayor knows that the man they're dragging out for clapping and who said he'd like to speak is a teacher in that town, physics teacher, and that he is the spouse of the woman addressing the mayor and the rest of the council about the data center that they're protesting. This is our America.
So they have the ability to violate those. Come on, Brad. Oh, yeah.
The rest of you can leave. It was very clear at the beginning that each person is given their 2 minutes, and we're trying to be respectful of that. Snapping, clapping, any other rude comments or anything, we will ask you to leave. You've been finally warned, and we're done.
You guys all should be literally ashamed of yourselves. Kids don't want this. The community don't want this. The only one who this stands to compensate or to get what benefit from this is, it seems like, you guys.
So, again, the whole town had a chance to see what
Come on, drag it up.
Please let go of this.
It's not okay. That teacher is being arrested for clapping. On Wednesday, the Emporia City Commission in Kansas unanimously approved zoning changes for a proposed data center after over 2 hours of public comment. In fact, so many people attended the meeting that they had to establish overflow rooms. The teacher in the video, Lux Claridge, was arrested after clapping in support of speakers opposing the data center. On Tuesday, a petition.
So, person he was clapping in support of, you saw in the other video, was his spouse. And yet, what is up in America with our First Amendment rights? How can this stand? Y'all, welcome to the Hillbilly Think Tank. I am Spencer Keck. I am a candidate for magistrate here in Hardin County, District 3. I'm the educated hillbilly. And no, that's not an oxymoron. Don't call me a moron. There have been educated, erudite, and emancipated hillbillies here in Kentucky ever since my kith and kin came through the Cumberland Gap with Daniel Boone and the Long Hunters and their quest for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And they found it and established it and worked hard for it, built it right here. We have to keep it. Again, like I said, I'm Spencer Keck, retired Navy doc, combat veteran, and currently a public school teacher and a candidate for magistrate in the Hardin County Fiscal Court, District 3.
I still believe in the warmth of heaven come. I need the rapture I feel when my feet touch the green, green grass of home.
All right, let's talk about what happened in Emporia. Let me lay out the facts precisely because they need no exaggeration at all. Emporia, Kansas, a town of about 25,000 people, was voting on zoning changes to hand over 1,000 acres of rural land for something called the Flint Hills Digital Campus, a gigawatt scale data center that could be the largest in that state. Before public comment began, a city commissioner named Monica Duncan warned the room, no clapping, no snapping, no rude comments, or you'll be asked to leave. Several residents spoke against the project and got quiet, respectful jazz hands from the crowd instead of applause. Everybody trying to follow the rule. Lux Claridge, a 37-year-old physics teacher at Emporia High School, clapped anyway. Roughly 5 claps for a speaker he agreed with. And as we just saw, that was his spouse. The mayor called for police action. 4 officers surrounded him. Body cam and phone footage shows him telling the officers calmly, "I'd like to speak." And then when they moved to remove him, saying, "Drag me out," which they did in handcuffs while his wife, Jessica Danford, watched from near the podium. He was booked into the Lyon County Jail on charges of interference with law enforcement and disorderly conduct and released after posting bail. The commission then voted 5-0 to approve the data center anyway. Claridge told the local news station afterward, "I'm glad to be out, but this is an inconvenience, really. It's not really deterring me from speaking out, or I guess clapping." His brother, David Claridge, said flatly, "This isn't going to hold up in court. I'm looking at avenues to get these people recalled." Claridge is scheduled to appear in court in September and plans to plead not guilty. Next segment, not a fluke, a wave. Now I want you to understand that Emporia isn't some strange, isolated overreaction. It's the sharp edge of something happening in nearly every state in this country right now, including multiple spots in Kentucky. I've reported on here before. Our neighbors just to the south of us in Cave City are pushing back because they want to put a data center right down there in Cave City. We all know that the largest cave network in the world has water in it that we all share in this large water table of ours. Do we want that drained? Do we want that poisoned? Well, the folks in Cave City do not at all. And they are going through similar debacle. So, attacking group called Data Center Watch, it's been a tracking group, called Data Center Watch, found that in just the first 3 months of this year alone, communities blocked or delayed at least 75 data centers and projects nationwide, worth roughly $130 billion, matching the entire prior year's total in a single quarter. The number of organized opposition groups more than doubled in that same stretch, from under 400 to more than 800, spread across 49 states. And a Gallup poll this May found 71% of Americans oppose putting a data center anywhere near their own home. Here's the detail that ought to catch your attention regardless of party. This opposition is genuinely bipartisan. Senator Bernie Sanders and Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez introduced a federal moratorium bill together. Maine's Democratic governor vetoed a state moratorium this spring, not because she opposed the idea, but because she wanted a narrow local carve-out for one specific project with real community support. This is not a red issue or a blue issue. It's a whose land, whose water, whose power bill is this really for issue? And it's boiling over in city halls from Kansas to Kentucky to Virginia. All right, next segment, a second front, the Supreme Court and Roundup. Now, the very same week that ordinary citizens are getting arrested for clapping at their own town meetings, a different kind of citizen power got quietly narrowed too. And I think the two stories rhyme. Back in June, the Supreme Court ruled 7-2 in a case involving Bayer, the company that owns Monsanto and makes the weed killer Roundup. Justice Kavanaugh, writing for the majority, held that a federal pesticide law, FIFRA, blocks state-level lawsuits against that Bayer failed to warn customers about a cancer risk on the product label because the EPA doesn't require that warning. Now, I want to be precise here because precision is the whole point of this show. This ruling does not make Bayer bulletproof from every lawsuit on earth. Claims arguing the product itself was defectively designed may still be able to proceed, according to attorneys involved. But it does slam the door on the specific claim behind roughly 200,000 pending cases brought by people who believe Roundup gave them cancer and that they were never warned. And these folks have the receipts of their cancer diagnoses and their contact with Roundup to make their claim. The World Health Organization has called the chemical in Roundup a probable human carcinogen since 2015. The EPA, under this administration, disagrees. And now, thanks to one ruling, EPA's opinion is the only one that legally counts, no matter what a jury in Missouri or California might have believed after hearing all the evidence. Two totally different arenas, a Kansas City Commission and the United States Supreme Court, and the same basic move happening in both. An ordinary citizen's voice, whether it's a clap in a meeting room or a jury verdict in a courtroom, getting overridden by the people who already hold the power. Next segment, the line. We'll try to give this one a fair is fair also. Now, the honest hearing, because both of tonight's stories, they say they have a real argument buried in them. Public meetings genuinely do need some order and decorum. A 2-minute rule kept fairly lets everyone actually get heard instead of the loudest voices eating the whole clock. And a commissioner has a legitimate interest in running an orderly meeting. On the data center question broadly, these projects claim that they bring real jobs and real tax revenue. And this country does not need digital infrastructure to live somewhere. And on the Bear ruling, there's a real legal principle at stake too. A manufacturer arguably shouldn't face 50 different contradictory state labeling rules when a federal agency has already set a national standard. Now that's the actual constitutional question FIFRA preemption is built to answer, and it's not a made up one. Here's my answer to both of those. A decorum rule that's enforced with 4 officers and a pair of handcuffs over 5 claps for one identified man who never touched another human being isn't decorum anymore. It's a demonstration of who's actually welcome in that room. And a legal shield that closes the courthouse door on 200,000 people's cancer claims based on an EPA safety opinion, plenty of scientists dispute, it isn't neutral either. It's a choice about whose evidence gets to count. You can believe in orderly meetings and reasonable national standards and still recognize that both of these outcomes landed on the exact same side, the side with the microphone, the land, and the lawyers against the side with the folding chair and a 2-minute clock. Clip that. Next segment, home. Bringing it on home here to Hardin County. So let's bring it home because this whole episode is really about one question. When you show up to your own local government, does it actually still belong to you? Now, I absolutely am determined that it does still belong to you. I'm determined that it still belongs to us, y'all. And we have got to make sure that our elected officials hold the same belief and standard. Coffee Cats, thanks for being here tonight. Yes, please, everyone, like and subscribe. Now, democracy dies in the dark. If we don't have transparency, if we have folks that do the voting and vote these people in, then being held back from saying anything, especially in local government, where that's where we should have the most access, then our democracy is in trouble and it's been bought out. So we have got to shut this down with everything that we've got. All right. Have you ever been told to stay quiet at your own local meeting? That was my question tonight. And, you know, I'll put my number up here, the last few little bit here while I'm on air. If you want to give me a call and tell me what you think about it or give me some examples, feel free, or type them there in the comments. All right. So y'all, data centers are a big deal. They're coming after us here in Kentucky. They think that in these small towns, they can force us into doing what billionaires want. Stealing the power from our grids, making us pay for it in our electric bill, taking all of our water, which is this state goes through droughts, goes through rain, goes through droughts, goes through some rain. We don't have a solid time of just plenty of water. And our aquifers do not need to be depleted by billionaires and leave us answering for it later with cancer, with no water, and with our crops dying because there's nothing to water them with in the dry time. Tell me what you think. That's my belief. Similar large industrial proposals, you know, they've come or could come before our own fiscal court or our own planning commission. And I want to make sure that conversation looks transparent and allows the people who will be affected by it to truly stand up and say what they believe. And it turns out these data centers, they are not the job producers that they want you to think they are. They are run on automatic once they're built. They don't have a whole slew of 1,500 people in there working. So this is not what rural America needs, or urban America for that matter. All right, y'all, I don't pretend to know every project headed our way yet, but I know this. A fiscal court meeting in Hardin County is going to be a place where the loudest thing in the room is the truth, not a gavel. If you clap for your neighbor, if you get emotional about your own water, your own land, your own kid's future, you will never be met with handcuffs on my watch. You'll be met with an answer. That woman in Emporia, Kansas said it better than I can. We are the people, and the table belongs to us. Remember that. The table does not belong to the data center, not to the commission, to us. That's not a radical idea. That is the entire idea this country was built on 250 years ago. And we're celebrating that this year. So don't let it be forgotten just because July 4th is gone. And it's the only idea a county government is required to protect every single meeting without exception. Y'all know it. We've got to live it, and we've got to, be in the fight to keep this thing going.
Then I know I have reached the valley of kingdom come.
Y'all, I'm Spencer Keck, the educated hillbilly, and this has been the Hillbilly Think Tank. Come to a fiscal court meeting. Bring your hardest question. Whether I earn your vote or not, we will get an answer together. I will see you there. Keep thinking deeply, and remember that in Kentucky, united we stand, divided we fall. That's not just words on a flag. It is the glue that holds us together. Because if we love our neighbors as ourselves, and we recognize that, yes, we are our brother's keeper and our sister's keeper, then y'all, we cannot be divided, and y'all, we will not fall. Remember, everyone deployed overseas, they're in harm's way tonight and every day. And bless your corazón. That is Spanish for heart. This has been paid for by Spencer Keck. Learn more at spencerkeckmagistrate.com. Y'all have a great one.